Hi everybody, hello and welcome. Welcome back to Mr. Green. Mr. Green is the name of our altered book that we are adding to every day throughout September. For those of you that have just joined us, you're welcome. All of the previous days' videos are in a playlist on my channel. I think the link is down below, and then you can see how we've arrived at day 17. I don't know, by the seat of our pants, I think sometimes. But anyway, we're progressing with Mr. Green, and yesterday was, the big floppy. It's on magnets, and it's like that, like that, like that, like that. It's really nice, actually. That's Liana scrap paper, Natural World, and it's very nice paper. So there's plenty of journaling and plenty of flippy flops to get your head around, and that closes on a magnet. So that was yesterday, the 16th, which brings us on to today. So this will be the page for today, and yesterday at the end, I can pop Mr. Green away for just the time being. Steady, Mr. Green. Yesterday, the designer that I rolled for today was our very last Tracy Fox Artie Mays wildcard selection. That's 5 now. We can't roll that anymore. We're only allowed 5 per designer. So I opted to go once again with the wild card, and the prompt that I have chosen is, I bet you can't guess it. I bet you absolutely can't guess it. Apart from it's got to be one of the ones there. The one I've gone for is playing card. So that's the 17th. There we go. Right, so an altered playing card. That's what I'm going for. Let's pop the prompt list up there. It's all going to come crashing down one day, but hopefully not today. So I've got some playing cards. I've got 2 decks of playing cards, and furthermore, in the middle, I have a set of 5 dice. And I'm wondering whether to take one of these out and swap it for this incompetent dice that I do have, die that I've got here. See, it's a little bit smaller. Maybe one of those would let us roll a 2. Anyway, so I looked at those and I thought, yeah, they'd be great to alter. And then I thought, no, why would I alter those when I've got these? And they're ginormous by comparison. Mr. F found them in a charity shop at some stage, and I couldn't think of anything to use them with. So anyway, that's what we're altering today, those rather humongous playing cards. So the first thing that we need to do, because they're very, very shiny and they won't accept anything on them, you could sand them. You definitely could sand them, and I have actually tried that. But what happens is you sand off some of the print, and I didn't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is use transparent gesso, which will adhere to it and give us some tooth to work on. If you haven't got transparent gesso, don't rush out and buy any, although it's a very handy thing to have. Just sand them, sand yours, and you'll be fine. Just, be careful and don't go mad. Just give it something for future layers to grip onto. So let's get this on here. You don't need to be fussy about this. You don't need to be fussy about leaving brush marks or anything. It's going to have quite a lot of layers on this, so just get the gesso on, that's all. If you haven't got transparent gesso, you could use a light coat of ordinary gesso. Would do the job as well, actually. So there we are. I think that's pretty much all over. So we just have to, there's a fair bit of waiting for things to dry today, but I'll hurry on through them so you don't have to sit and endure, watch a playing card dry. Think of more interesting things to do. So I'll just leave that for the time being. I'm going to need this brush again, so I'm just going to wrap it up in a damp baby wipe like that, and that'll keep it damp and ready to use for the next time. So let's just leave that to dry for a moment. Okay, so that is now dry by the wonders of post video. It's great, isn't it? So I'm just going to take my vintage photo and just I might use my brush actually. If you've got one, use it. You can just get the ink on that, it doesn't matter what method really. And I'm just going to go around the outside. At this stage you start to have choices that you can make. I'm making mine looking quite vintagey, grungy sort of look. If you want yours more pastel colours, then now's the time to start applying the colours that you want to use. I seem to be going through a bit of a grungy phase at the moment. Don't worry, I'll get better. It's just doing this. Mr. Green seems to open grungy avenues. So I'm going all the way around the outside. I'm leaving the centre pretty much, well, paler. Let's say that. I'm leaving it paler. And the next thing to do, the next step along here is we're going to use some tissue, some ordinary white tissue. Once again, here you've got choices. You could use tea bag paper if you wanted to, but I know that not all of us have tea bag paper, so I'm opting for tissue. And I just want ordinary white tissue paper. And what I'm going to use is the back layer of a napkin. Seems to make sense to me. I actually thought I'd started this one off, but I haven't. So you just need to remove one layer of this. And it's going to be an awkward one, I can just tell. Oh, might be in. We might be in, guys. There we are. So just one layer. And that'll then leave you with an additional plain layer on that one, which will protect your napkin more than if it was just the skinny top layer. So let's just cut this down to a little larger. Oh, hello. There's the television. A little larger than the playing card. And then we're going to do the unthinkable. You won't believe what I do next. Well, you will. You followed me for long enough. I'm going to take this and scrumple it up. No, you say, you'll get wrinkles. Yes, I say, that's what I want. So there we have it. We have a wrinkly piece of tissue paper. And we're going to adhere that to there. And I'm just going to use matte medium for that. My brush again, and I really want to create some wrinkles in this. I'm going to start as I usually do in the centre, but I'm sort of pushing the tissue paper around excuse me, to try and get wrinkles in it on purpose. Wrinkles on purpose. It's so not what we usually do. But it looks nice when it's finished. So you're dabbing just to get those wrinkles, because from once you start to spread it out nicely, it's going to go on really smooth, the smoothest napkin you've ever put on, and it won't have any wrinkles in it. So I find the best way is just to dab and try and trap those wrinkles in. Like that. So it's actually quite a satisfying process. At least I find it quite satisfying. So you can sort of see where the wrinkles are there, where my matte medium's sort of piled up a little bit. And they'll dry in and look nice, hopefully. There's more processes to go than this. Don't think we're finished, because we're not. So you can still see the card through this. You can still see the inking that we did as our first layer. Just layering things up. That's always the secret to everything. Layer things up. Almost there now. Make sure you've got it firmly glued down on the edges. Just going to go around my edges just to make sure that they are stuck down properly. I mean, you could sew this ultimately if you wanted to, but I'm not going to, so I really want to make sure they're stuck down. There we go. Okay. So once again, guys, you're going on pause while this dries a little bit. There we go. Okay. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so that's dry. It's miraculous, this, isn't it? I just say pause. Next thing you know, it's dry. Right, so my next layer is going to be the Tim Holtz Distress Collage Medium in Vintage. Okay, not all of you have this, and what you can do is use ordinary matte medium or ordinary collage medium, ordinary Mod Podge. Just put a teeny amount of brown ink or brown paint into it and it'll be fine. It'll be absolutely fine. So I have this, so I'm going to use it, but it could be clear and I could have mixed in some brown into it. So I'm going to go over all of this, which will bring out those wrinkles. And once again, you know, you don't need to be too precious about this at all. It's a little mixed media project for us. Seem to be doing quite a bit of that lately, and I'm sorry if that's not your taste, but we'll be getting back to journaling proper, I shall call it, pretty soon. Well, another 13 days or so, something like that. So you can see how that's picking up those wrinkles that we've got and making it look really pretty. Well, I think so. That's about it, I think. I think we're about there. It's a bit of a... needs a bit more there, I think. But overall, yeah, that's fine. I can see all my wrinkles. Still see the playing card clear as day. And now I really do have to let that dry and have a really good dry. So once again, guys, except this time I'm actually going off to have my lunch. It is a bit late today, but yeah, lunch it is. So I shall see you after lunch. Bye. Hi everybody, you'll be glad to know I had a very tasty lunch, but we're back to this now, and it's dry, it's bone dry, and all we need to do now is knock off this excess tissue paper, and I find the best way is with a sanding block. You might be fine just cutting it, you know, but I think that you get I think that you get a good smooth edge if you do it with a sanding block. Apart from this one that doesn't want to let go. Oh, it does. Come on. You can do it. That's it. So there we have it. It is an altered playing card, and very nice it is too, I think. The only thing really that we've got left to do is to put some stamps on it. Not stamps like Royal Mail stamps. Some stamping, I mean. So the first one that I'm going to use is just a texture stamp. And any stamp that you've got that is kind of a texture stamp, you know, bubbles or crosses or circles, anything like that, just to add some texture to the background really. And I'm going to use Stays On because I'm going on top of that Distress Collage medium, and I know it's a bit awkward to get things to stick to that. So Stays On I know will do the job. So I'm just going to ink that up, and I don't have a plan in my head of where I'm going to stamp these stamps. I'll just see what I feel like once I start. Put that there off the page. It's just a little grid stamp, this one. It's not in your face, but it's very definitely there. And once again, you don't have to do this. If you're doing pretty, maybe you'd want to just put some butterflies on it or something. Each stage is up to you to decide what you want to put on. Little Catkin's been causing holy terror this morning. He's found one of my boxes of scrap paper, and he just seems to like being in it. He just jumps in and just kind of stays there. He's not causing any problems to the paper. He just goes in and stays there. I'm just going to put that one fairly central. So there we are. We've got that kind of background stamp all over the place. So let's just stamp that off. There we go. And now I've got a stamp that's all numbers. It's all kind of jiggled up numbers, and I really quite like it. It kind of almost ceases to be numbers. It just becomes a pattern that you see. So let's ink that one up, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a cling stamp, which I don't often use, but I must say it does stamp quite nicely. So where do I want this? Probably up there. Just coming off the side of the page. I like stamps when they come off the side of the page. Well, side of the card in this case. And I want one at the bottom, which is the top, this bit. I want one at the bottom, just going off that bottom there. You can see the StazOn sits on top of it for ages before it dries. Let's do some more with this number one. I really like it. Perhaps from this bottom corner, I think. Yeah, it's looking nice now. And something at the top. Sometimes, we buy stamps, I'm as guilty as anybody else, and they're stamps of flowers or they're stamps of butterflies or whatever. And actually the ones we probably use the most are the ones that of pretty much of nothing. They're just background. So I'm going to put that right on that edge there, I think. No, I'm going to bring it in a bit. There, how about there? Well, it's there now. I think that's enough. Don't think we need any more on that. That would be overkill. Right, put the StazOn away. Oop. Let's stamp that off. There we go. Right, next thing to do is I'm just going to give that a bit of a waft, because I can still see that StazOn is wet, and I don't want to pick it up and smudge it because I quite like the way it looks at the minute. Smudging is not on the agenda. I hope all of you are keeping up. I know some of you are. I haven't been on the group that much recently, so I'm sure when I go back on there'll be some lovely things for me to see. I can't wait really. I've been so short of time. I don't know, where does the time go? It generally takes me all morning to to work out what I'm going to do in Mr. Green that day, and then to have a little practice run, so as nothing too terrible goes wrong. And then of course in the afternoon I film the video, and after that I think, oh well, that's the work day done. Is that dry? That looks dry to me. Right, so now I've got ground espresso, which is a dark brown. Once again, be guided by the colours you've used, If you're doing purples and whatever, then you won't be probably going around with ground espresso. It's hard to get things to adhere to that collage medium. And the distress inks very often don't want to adhere. But we'll go around it anyway. You needn't be too fussy. That's better, get some on there. Just darken the borders down. Yeah, that looks nice. That looks nice. Pleased with that. Right, so what I'm going to do now is get rid of this glass board. Go away. Let's pop that up there out the way. And I'm going to back this with red card because I think red would bring it out nicely. I think it would look nice on it. So let's just check I've cut that at the right size, which I actually have. And I'm sure you can see there, even now with the red border around it, it kind of brings it to life a bit. If you've gone for all black cards, use black card to mount it on. You know, if your whole thing is pink, use pink card. It's really up to you. I'm looking for my corner rounder, which seems to have gone on the missing list. Oh, it's where it should be. That's why I couldn't find it. So the cards themselves, the corners are rounded on them. So I'm just going to round this. It's a different size corner rounder, but it's the only one I've got, so it'll have to do. And that's going to go there. Lovely. Let's stick it on with a bit of Collage. I think that red is good enough to journal on. I don't think you'd have a problem journaling on red. You know, when you've got a black biro or whatever, I think it would show up perfectly fine. You would, however, have a problem if you did use black card. In as much as the people would have to get a white pen, wouldn't they? That's the answer to that. There we go. Lovely. Just leave that for a couple of seconds just to tack up a little bit. Gently go around it. I still got squidgage. It's not the end of the world. So I'll go around there now with my towel and press down those edges. There we are, I think that's fine. Oh, it's got lovely texture, this, you can feel it. It's really a real textured piece, which I like a lot, and I hope you like. Now then, you might remember some while ago, probably the back end of last year actually, we all had a bit of a mad craze on a paper pad that was called Heirloom, and this paper is one of the ones that was in that pack, in the stack should I say. So I've cut it out to the size of Mr. Green, and I've also cut out a tummy tuck or a belly band, which I'm going to put on there. I've cut it out 1/2 inch longer than the page, and I'm just going to score it at 1/2 inch on each edge, each end of this, and stick it on. So 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. Your measurements will be different depending on which book you're using, I guess. So there we go, and just fold that over and find your bone folder, here it is. One of these days I really will tidy my desk. I kind of tidied it yesterday for Mr. F's video. Did you all see that? It's a lovely technique. He made a lovely job of it. And he's got another one to finish off, I believe. I don't know whether he's doing it today or later in the... Well, it can't be any later in the week. It's Friday today. So I think I could probably get that. Have I got room to get that tucked in? No, I'll have to stick it on the top. Right, so let's find out where the middle is. That measures 8.5. So the middle is 4 1/4, which is there. And the middle of this, I don't even know what this measures. I just cut it out one width of the card. It's 2 inches. So I reckon the middle of that is 1 inch. It doesn't seem to want to lie down. 1 inch is there. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a guide to go off, and I'm going to use my art glitter for this. You could use double-sided as well. That would be nice and strong. Or you could use double-sided and art glitter if you really wanted to. It would never come off then. Never in a month of Sundays. Right, so that wants to go... I don't think I made this the easiest thing to look at. It's there and it's there. So that's... yeah, that's lovely. That's where that wants to go. Furthermore, that's where it's going. Lovely. And then some more art glitter glue on the bottom. And just press it down like that with your hand, and then it'll go straight. Because sometimes, actually that could have done with being just a touch less, but I'm all right with that. It's okay. It's not perfect. It's a junk journal. Right, okay, now then. So we've got our card, which is obviously going to go in there. But, surprise, surprise, I've got 2 more. So we have now in total 3 cards. And what I've done is I've put a hole in the side of these, like that. And I just need to put a hole, 2 holes in the side of this one. And then, looks like we've got ourselves a book. Well, a booklet. I'd hardly go so far as calling it a book. That might be a bit of an exaggeration. So I'm just going to take one of these as the guide for where to put the holes for this one. Make sure that they're lined up together and just punch through where the other hole is. Same here. There we are. So all of them have now got 2 holes in the sides, like that. And all I'm going to do is get some red ribbon, and I'm just going to pass it through there. Hopefully pass it through there. Hopefully it wants to go. Go on. Go through all 3 at once. Make my day. No, of course it doesn't want to. Why would it? So let's go through each one individually then, if that's what a game you want to play. Lovely. Right. So let's just tighten that up. Get them all lying nice and flush like that. Now I want to tie a knot, but I don't want to tie it mega tight. I want it quite tight, not mega tight. And I don't need all of this either, so let's cut that off. So it is just going to be a knot. You know, a right under left, left over right, whatever that knot is. And I'm just going to leave myself a little bit of play, if I ever can tie the knot, of course. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to leave that much play and see if that's going to allow us to turn the pages. So it's a little bit on the tight side, to be honest. So let's just undo that knot. I think I possibly want to add something there to make the knot slacker. How about a pen? How about I put a pen there? That might work, you know. That's the old grey cells clicking into action. I don't want to tie it too tight in case I've got to untie it again. Right, let's see what that's like. Yeah, that's fine. That's perfect, actually. Wow. Right, so I'm going to make that. Oh, it's come undone. Get your pen in there again and tie that up. Right, that's it. It's good and firm now. I'll leave my pen in there whilst... Yeah, do you think it's going to go through these three in one go? Yeah, I think it might. I think... No. Where's my pokey tool? There you go. It did it. So I'm going to put my pen there again. Tie the knot, same as I did for the one at the top. And hopefully all should be well. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Look at this lovely booklet that we've got. And plenty journaling as well. Wow, I love it. So I'm just going to get rid of some of this. Make sure that's tight. And get rid of some of this bulk of the ribbons. Not bulk, I mean the ends. The loppy ends. There we go. So the theory is that this should go, yeah, look at that. Would you just look at that? It's like I planned it. Okay, let's get that out of there. I'm quite giddy about this actually because I really like it. Right, where's my double-sided? Here we go. We're down to using this for sticking the pages in if you've been absent the last couple of days, because the book's getting so fat. The pages are bent now and it's making sticking them in a bit difficult. So I hope you have a go at this in whatever guise you choose to do it in. You know, more on the grungy side, more on the pastel side. The options are there for you. Frankly, I think that playing cards lend themselves to a more grungy style. But it doesn't mean to say I'm right. Of course I'm right. What am I talking about? I'm always right. As Mr. F will tell you. Right, there we go.
You're always right.
Ha. He's learned. Good lad that he is. Right, so just burnish that down. It's important that you burnish your double-sided down, people, because otherwise you get air trapped underneath it, the air expands and it makes the tape fail. So, yeah. Burnish your double-sided. And we'll just take the release paper off the back. Oh, it's always one, isn't it? There we go. Alright, so let's get Mr. Green open at the appropriate page before I put the glue on. I think, are you upside down? No, you're the right way up. So he's going on to this page here. We must be making progress when you look how thick he is. Look at him. we've got to be making some sort of progress. Right, let's get the collage on the back of this. I decided I didn't mind using up my red paper because I'm not doing a Christmas journal this year, so I just went ahead and used it. I'm saying all this, and you know, I bet you any money I end up doing one. You never know. There we go. Right, let's get this on the page. Lovely. I think most of these cards are coming this way, so I think that's up. Who knows which way is up? Not me. So make sure that you've got your double-sided down, and then the collage will take over and glue the rest, the centre and stuff. Just got a little bit of surplus glue there. There we are. Come on, stick down. There we go. And then we can pop our book in. Looks lovely, doesn't it? Anyway, I'm quite happy with what we've made today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you have a go at it. It's good fun, really is. And like I say, you can change it up dramatically right from the word go. So there we have it. That is the 17th of September complete. I'll wait for it to stick down properly before I go in and put the date in it. But actually, I think we're not too bad. I'll shut that up. Now then, what's on the agenda for tomorrow? I'll get the prompt list. And I'm going to roll the die and see which designer it lands on. See if it was actually a 2, I think I'd die of shock. We just haven't had a 2 at all. Right, so it can't be 6 because we've had that one today and we've already had 5 of them. So they need to have a line put through them. Because they are now off the agenda. Right, are you ready, guys? I feel a 2 coming on. I feel a 2 coming on. Come on, 2. 2, 2, 2. 3. It's getting closer. So that is Wonders by Wink, our very lovely Keong. And so I'll be using some of Keong's papers. I'm not sure which kit or anything yet. And I will be selecting a prompt from the ones that are left. So thank you so much for joining me again today. I hope you've enjoyed that. I did really enjoy that one. I like the outcome a lot. And I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully, when you'll join me again, and we'll carry on with Mr. Green. Thanks, guys. Bye.